Shannon, who wins Game 7, Clippers or Nuggets?
Yeah, Paul George, you're right. Y'all are in the driver's seat, but you're driving a hoopty and it's on blocks. You ain't going nowhere, bro. I don't get it, Skip. Remember after Game 5, they blew that 15-point lead? Paul George said, we got to come out with the same intensity that we started the game with, play that way through the entirety of the game, and put this team away in Game 6. We ain't worried about it. We're going to put them away in Game 6. Why are we having this conversation about Game 7? If Paul George was going to do what he said they were going to do, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. Skip, you and I should be discussing the Clippers and the Lakers getting ready to play tomorrow night. That's what we should be discussing.
Correct.
But we're not.
Okay.
For me, Skip, am I going to put my trust in Paul George, Skip? Okay, this is his last playoffs in an elimination game. 2017 against the Clippers. Paul George was 5 of 21. In an elimination game against Utah, Paul George was 2 of 16. Last year, against Utah, 2019, 3 of 14. You put your trust in that, Skip? I didn't think so. For me, they better find an answer for Yoke, because that's the guy they have no answer for, Skip. He's 28, 14, and 6 since Game 2. They got no answer. They don't. Zubac is not agile enough to guard him outside. And then when they bring in Trez or they bring in a smaller person, all he does is post them up and shoot over the top of them. So they have no answer for them. The Nuggets just got to keep this. Don't let them run and hide. Give yourself a chance late into the ball game. Now, every time I pick them, they lose, and when I don't pick them, they win. But Skip, I really think the Nuggets are on to something here. I think the Nuggets believe that they can beat this team. I believe the Nuggets believe deep down, they're better than this team. Just don't get down by 30, and it's like, we're going to be there. Because even what was that Game 2, Skip, they still had a chance. Remember, and they just could not buy a bucket late into the ball in the second game, Game 2, in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't hit a shot because they were right there.
Agreed.
They were right there. So for me, Skip, I'm going to take the Nuggets. I believe the Nuggets will win a close ball game. But Skip, all I heard from day one when discussing the Clippers was killer instinct. Dog. I mean, I'm like, what the hell? They got a killer out there? Because that's all I hear is, when you talk about Clippers, all you hear about is dogs. Oh, the dogs. Man, they got guys, they can throw this guy at LeBron, they can throw that guy at the LeBron, and this one. Well, you better find somebody you can throw at Yoke. And you better find somebody that can do something with Murray, because he getting cooking now. So I'm going to take the Nuggets in a close ball game tonight.
For once, I have to admit, you are almost certainly right about your pick. I picked the Clippers before the year started to win it all, so I can't back off that. I can't just wave the white flag and give up and say, okay, I give in to the Nuggets. I'm still going to pick the Clippers, but I wouldn't bet. What am I going to have for lunch? Let's see, chicken and broccoli. I wouldn't bet one little piece of broccoli on this.
What about a wooden nickel?
How about a plug nickel? Do you remember plug nickels?
I do.
Okay, I wouldn't bet a plug nickel on this, because clearly the Nuggets have their number psychologically. Clearly they have seized the momentum and the control of this series. I'm talking about the mental control.
Right.
They just believe that they've got the Clippers right where they want them. And if it happens to be down 16.5, they got them right where they want them. And all I know is that the odds makers keep indicting the Clippers.
Right.
Because every game up until this one has been Clippers by 8 or 8.5 points.
Right.
Well, okay. So what's that tell you?
Yeah.
The odds makers are saying they're just clearly better than that team.
Yes.
Tonight, it has shrunk all the way to 7.5. Okay. So 8.5 to 7.
But the odds makers still believe in them.
They still believe them by 7.5 points. They're saying that's a pretty significant basketball spread. That's just saying, hey, and obviously it's on a quote-unquote neutral floor.
Right.
It's really not a home game.
Because, Skip, you remember when the Lakers were playing the Rockets, the line was 5.5, 6.5.
It was all the way through.
Yes.
It kept being, even to the bitter end,
Yes.
it was in the 5s.
Yes.
Okay, so what am I seeing here? I'm seeing a joker who has turned the Clippers defense into a joke.
Yes.
Especially in the last 2 fourth quarters. He has toyed with them. He has made them look silly on defense.
Right.
because they don't have any answer for him.
No.
As a scorer or a passer, they don't have any answer.
Correct.
He's 7 feet tall. He's awkward looking. Doc made a joke about how,
Goofy,
he
like
looks
Kevin,
a little
yeah.
goofy like Kevin McHale, but it's great goofy, man.
Yeah.
Because it works. He's playing at different speeds, kind of like Luka plays at different awkward sort of speeds, but you can't seem to draw a bead on it. You can't seem to figure out how to deal with it. They tried to bring Trez in to deal with him, and he just gets devoured because he's only about 6'7".
Yeah, he's too small.
And Zubac tries his tail off at 7 feet, but he's just not good enough.
But he can't because they put him in the pick and roll, and now Yoke is shooting wide open threes.
Okay, so look what he's done in the last 2 fourth quarters. He's 8 of 11 and 5 of 5 from the three-point line. And think about this. The last 2 fourth quarters, Denver has made 7 of 9 three-point shots in each fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's 14 of 18 in the fourth quarter. Help me out.
You're gonna win a bunch of games.
Aren't you going to lose?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't stop that, if they make 14 threes in 2 straight fourth quarters, you got no shot.
And that's the thing, Skip. With that 3 ball, nobody's out of a ball game.
Nobody's out of it, and they will bury you with the 3.
Yep.
And once they get cooking on it, they all start making threes. They got a lot of weapons. I'm not saying they have a lot of great players. They have one great one and one emerging star in Jamal.
Right.
Jamal has not played great in Game 7s. And remember, they're up to, what are we up to, like 4 straight Game 7s that they've played?
That's all they've
back to
ever
last year.
San Antonio, Portland, Utah, and now the Clippers. So, Skip, they know what this moment's about, Skip, because this is football. Because the difference between football and basketball, every game is a Game 7 because it's finality. There is no more tomorrow. So they've been in these moments so many times before. I don't know if any of the Clippers, with the exception, Kawhi was in a Game 7 last year against Philly.
He was.
But basically this entire team, this is all they know. Or Game 7s.
Right. So they are battle tested.
Yes.
I've told you from the start, it feels to me like the Clippers' whole season has pointed toward the team they share that building with, Staples. The whole season has been about the Lakers, and all of a sudden it comes down to one game in which they better get serious about the Nuggets.
Right.
And I don't know if they can dredge it back up because they've given all the momentum to the other team, and it still feels like all the pressure is on the Clippers. I don't care what you say. The Nuggets, it's gravy, man. I mean, nobody really expected them to do much against this team.
Right.
They got blown off the floor in Game 1, which worked to their benefit, obviously, because here they came.
Right.
And to your point, Game 2, if Gary Harris drops a couple of threes in the fourth quarter, and he had a couple of wide open, and Jeremy Grant had maybe a couple of wide opens, and they just missed them. They haven't been missing since then. So now it comes down to, you're right about Paul George. He's never been anything but a complimentary star, and I don't trust him. I don't even expect much from him. But what has the Clippers offense degenerated into over the last...
It ain't no ball move. It's Kawhi. Throw the ball to Kawhi.
Kawhi. Over on the wing and just let him dribble.
He's either going to get to the middle and pull up, or you're going to shoot the mid-range from one of the corners, or you're going to pass. That's it. That's your offense. Ain't no ball.
Try to get in your lane and pass it to somebody, right? And after a while, they just double him, and they all play for him to pass. Stay, watch your lanes, stay in touch with everybody. And he's starting to struggle. He can't get a shot, and he can't find the right open shooter.
Right.
Well, when they're at their best, to me, when they will blow you off the floor, is when the ball starts to move.
Right.
Marcus Morris, this night is not too big for him.
Right.
This stage is not too big.
Right.
He will make threes. He'll take big shots and make big ones. If the ball starts moving, all of a sudden you'll see Landry Shamet make a couple of threes. You'll see JaMychal Green make a couple of threes. They have other weapons unexploited where let the ball move. And obviously, Lou Williams has got, he has been bubble burst. Ever since you called him Lemon Pepper Lou, ever since that moment he came back from that debacle in Atlanta after the funeral he went to, or the service he went to.
He has not been the same.
He just hasn't been the same.
He hasn't been the same since he re-quarantined. Skip, but the difference in this ball game is that what made the Clippers so great in the regular season is that their bench was dominating. Their bench was giving them 50, 60 on a nightly basis. The Nuggets bench have played them to a standstill.
Absolutely.
And on some nights, they outplayed them. Well, if their bench, because they got 4 of the last 5, 4 of the last 6, 4 of the last 6, Six Man of the Year.
Yeah.
If the Nuggets with Michael Porter Jr., he's outplayed them.
He has.
He's outplayed them.
But we said early in the bubble, this kid is on the
Yes.
rise, man. He looks like he's got some star potential to him.
And that joker taking threes with, I'm about to make this one.
Yeah.
That one he took the other night, ain't no way he's supposed to take that shot. He shot it with, Yoke passed it to him, and he didn't even think about it.
With conviction. He did. When he shot it, I said, that's in.
And now he's getting more and more confidence.
Yep.
And Mike Malone is believing in him, and he's playing more and more minutes. The thing is, Skip, like I said, and what I love about him the other night, I say, at some point in time, bro, you're 6'10". Challenge somebody at the rim. If you get poked on, you get poked on. But you got to challenge somebody. You just can't just let him go up there and just like, he ain't going to challenge. He challenged Zubac, blocked it, and got the rebound. Built up a lot of cred in the locker room with his teammates because they know he can play offense, but they need you to give him a little bit on the defensive end.
Yep.
It's going to be a dogfight tonight.
All right, bottom line, if the Clippers are going to survive this game, it has to be about Kawhi Leonard. He's their star. He's got to orchestrate and ignite it from the start, and he's going to have to play both ends in ways that his creaky, arthritic knees don't often allow him. He's going to have to try to play defense as hard as he's playing offense right now.
Skip, but you know he's been playing 40 minutes.
Okay, well, he's going to have to play 48 minutes. So I'm serious.
He might have to play 42, 43.
This has to be a superstar game.
Yeah.
So here's my prediction, and I'm just hoping against hope on this. The only way the Clippers are going to win this game is by a lot, where they come out and just take it over from the start. So my prediction is Clippers win. Again, I wouldn't bet a plug nickel on this. I'm going to go 120 to 100, where they lock down on defense and hold them to right at 100. And
so you say the game's going to be over at the start of the fourth?
Correct.
Because if they go into the ball game in the fourth quarter.
They got no shot. No shot if this is a close game into the fourth.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.